This is a TV show called Flashpoint. It's on the Victory Network. It's Kenneth Copeland's Victory Network on TV. Well, anyways, they are Donald Trump's mouthpieces, effectively. They say whatever it is Donald Trump is thinking. And he just got indicted again. I don't know which one we're on at this point. I think right now they're talking about number 3, but he's got more than that already. They're just so piled up that whatever. Anyway, this was on August 3rd, 2023, when this actually came out. Long past that point now, but it's worth listening, right? It's worth getting an idea of what they think of Donald Trump and trying to communicate Donald Trump's feelings about his indictments to us through them. So I want to give this a listen. On the left is Gene Bailey. He's a televangelist. These are all televangelists to some degree. Middle is Lance Wallnau, had his bank account frozen for money laundering recently. And on the right is the owner of a nonprofit organization. I forget which one or what his name is. Anyway, let's give this a listen, see what they have to say about Trump's indictment. Again, this is number 3. I think his third indictment was the election interference one where he was the fake elector thing, and it was a federal indictment. So anyway, let's give this a listen. And while we do, we're going to play some Final Fantasy VII. Just kind of going through it. It'll be in the background. If you never played it, it shouldn't bother you too much. But, yeah, let's do it.
What do you think, Lance? Let me come to you. But the abuse of power, do you think, is that too bold or is that accurate?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Let me catch you up on what they're talking about here real quick. Sorry, I'm chewing now. Damn it. Damn chewing. I'm trying. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Chewing as quickly as I can. In the previous part, if you didn't see it, it's not a big deal. I'll give you context if it's missing. But in the last one, they quoted Steve Scalise on the twit, saying that Biden's Department of Justice is giving deals to Hunter Biden to cover for Biden's influence peddling scheme. It's just all nonsense. Like, none of this is true. While persecuting, you notice the word persecuting, not prosecute. Prosecution is where they come after somebody for something they did legally. Persecution is where they attack somebody for something that they did that they don't like, or something that they are, or whatever. They're persecuting his leading political opponent. It's all nonsense. All of it. All the way down. It's ridiculous. Like, these people have the strongest persecution complex I've ever seen in my life, I think. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. Anyway, let's give this, let's keep listening here, see what they have to say.
Suggest life insurance first for your family. What do you think, Lance? Let me come to you. But the abuse of power, do you think, is that too bold or is that accurate?
There is no abuse of power, first of all, in the Biden White House or Department of Justice or whatever. And they're very obviously just saying this in an attempt to divert attention from Donald Trump and how much abuse of power there was there.
Look, the more information that comes out about Hunter, now the phone calls.
What information came out about Hunter? Seriously, these people are obsessed with Hunter. This is like a few years ago when all we heard about were her emails. But her emails. That's all we heard about was buttery mails. This right here, this is all these guys thought about for, what? Hell, they're still thinking about him. 8 years straight, I guess. Buttery mails. Non-stop buttery mails. Anyways, that's basically that's the new Hunter Biden. Or Hunter Biden is the new buttery mails, I guess. Not as fun as buttery mails, but I'll take it, I suppose.
With Biden, I'm sorry. He's going to get cooked on this because he's got like 20 calls that just coincidentally happen to be while Hunter is trying to convince business partners that he's connected to his dad.
They're just looking for a reason to claim that Joe Biden is corrupt. He's like the least corrupt person alive. Seriously. There's nothing corrupt about Joe Biden. Hunter Biden, maybe. Yeah, sure, okay. I could accept that. Hunter Biden may be out for himself. Hunter Biden might be a crack addict. Which, you know, I'm a heroin addict for what it's worth, or was at least. So don't count people out for their addictions. Hopefully they get clean and pull it together. But Joe Biden is about as straight and narrow as they come. And Hunter Biden isn't in government. I don't care about Hunter Biden. If he did something illegal, then charge him with a crime. Can you say the same about Donald Trump? I specifically heard him say the exact opposite about Donald Trump.
And that they get, wink, wink, they get support from the whole Biden brand. And the whistleblower that was working for the IRS that came out made a very interesting statement that nobody's covering.
What the hell are you talking about, Lance? Like, half the shit he says is... I'm sorry, I'm chewing again. Let me chew. I'm almost done chewing. Like, half the shit he says is made up nonsense. What IRS whistleblower are you even referring to? Is there even an IRS whistleblower? Let me see. I don't even know what to search for. I'm just going to search IRS whistleblower. Apparently there's a whistleblower office at the IRS. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Is there an IRS whistleblower with Hunter Biden? Apparently there was an IRS whistleblower. I don't know why there would need to be. The IRS already has two copies of every transaction in the United States that take place. If you think you're getting one over on the IRS, trust me, you're not. They know just about everything. They know every transaction that takes place, and they know when you did not report something. Somebody is paying those taxes. If it's not you, it's the other person, and they reported that loss. There is no way, really, to get around paying your taxes. There's no way for the IRS to not know that you are lying and cheating. They know. Now, there are some legal loopholes that you can pull together, like storing your money in the Cayman Islands and stuff to avoid paying taxes legally. But there was no need for, like, a whistleblower in this case from the IRS, doesn't seem to me. It seems to me that Hunter Biden could just as easily have, it could have been uncovered by any IRS. So anyways, yeah, this is just complete nonsense. Like, they live in a fantasy land where they're persecuted 24/7. And Donald Trump is the worst treated person on planet Earth, and Hunter Biden is this big evil guy. I don't care about Hunter Biden. If he did something wrong, charge him with a crime. He's not in the administration.
He said he was restricted by the DOJ from asking or inquiring into any of the audit trails that could implicate business with the father or dad. He wasn't allowed to ask questions about that.
Okay, I don't believe that for a second. I don't know anything about that. If that's true, then bring it up in a court of law. Charge people with a crime, and we'll see.
He says, you have the subpoena power to bring up all of the witnesses that I couldn't get to before, and bring them up and ask about the audit questions that involve the father. You're going to see more information coming out. The data is going to be so conclusive.
Okay, so think about what's happening here. This episode is called Trump Indicted Again. We break it down. Why are we talking about Hunter Biden? What does any of this have to do with Hunter Biden? We're supposed to be talking about Trump's indictment. They're using Hunter Biden's legal problems, which seem legitimate, and again, if he did something wrong, great, charge him. They seem to be using his legal woes as like a shield for Donald Trump. They will do anything for this dude. It's like embarrassing at this point.
That even the talking heads on MSNBC are going to have a problem trying to say, well, he was just talking about the weather with 20 business partners, and I guess they never discussed business at lunch at the White House or on the golf course. And
yeah, I have no idea what he's even talking about right now. Like, again, if something went wrong, then do something about it. I want the person charged with the crime. Okay, nobody should get away with anything if, somebody did something wrong. But they are desperately trying to point the finger at Joe Biden when the finger is being pointed at Donald Trump. See how this is working? It's like a propaganda method of pointing away from the situation that's playing out right now in front of them.
American people are smarter than that. They're saying, no, not likely. Besides that, where does the $10 million go?
$10 million. Okay, I looked into, this is like a fever dream that they live in 24/7. And they've got this whole narrative built up about everything that's going on in the world around them. And they're convinced that it's all true. And it's insane. Seriously, it's like a fever dream. So he's talking about the $10 million. Where did the $10 million go? Hunter Biden owned shares in a company that he sold in, I think, 2019 or something like that. I don't know. And he didn't report that he sold those shares on his taxes. Presumably because he's trying to avoid paying them. I have no clue. But like I said, the IRS has 2 copies of every transaction, and they caught on to it. Don't try to f the IRS over. Don't do it. So Hunter Biden sold his shares in a company, made $10 million off of it, didn't pay something like $2 million in taxes. Now, he has paid that money since. So, the debt has been taken care of. The debt has been dealt with. In any normal case, Hunter Biden would just get probation, if that, and just move on with his life. If it was just any normal person. But they have to talk about, they have to spin this up into a huge conspiracy. And again, the title of this is Trump Indicted Again. We break it down. They're not breaking it down. Look, we're 12 minutes into this video. They haven't broken it down at all. I broke it down in part 1. Where's their breakdown? There is none. Because they want to divert attention away from Trump and toward anything and anybody else they possibly can. That's the goal here. That's what they're all about.
Let's take a look at the money. The money's somewhere in 20 shell corporations. When you put that data out in front of the average American, it's going to look like a criminal conspiracy to cover up crime. And the American people across the board don't like that.
Notice what he said there, too. Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm chewing again. Notice what he said there, too, about how the American public is too smart for that. That's kind of the MO of the far right also. Pretend that they're right about everything. And if they don't know if they've sold their point hard enough, make people feel stupid for not believing them or smart for believing them. This is all part of a propaganda campaign.
This is about a father's love for his son. It's just about, maybe they were making dinner plans on those phone calls. Like, meet me for pizza.
Yeah, so the claim, if you're unfamiliar, I'll give you the claims from the right. It's all complete garbage. But the claim basically is that after Beau Biden died, this is true. This is a true fact. Beau Biden was he was Joe Biden's son, right? So years and years ago, Joe Biden lost his family in a car accident, a terrible car accident. It was horrific. It was super sad, And Beau Biden was, I believe, from that family. He was not in the car. I think he lost his wife and his daughter in that car accident. And Beau Biden survived. Eventually, Joe Biden moved on to have another wife years later and another kid, Hunter Biden. And so Beau Biden was in the military in 2015, I think, and died of cancer, in Joe Biden's opinion, as a direct result of toxic burn pits that should have been illegal. Basically, that's the whole bit here. So Joe Biden made it his goal to make these toxic burn pits illegal because his son died that way. That makes complete sense. Toxic burn pits should be illegal, and anybody who got cancer from them or was hurt by them to any degree should be compensated for that. But after Beau Biden died of cancer, when Joe Biden was vice president, I remember when this happened. When Beau Biden died, that's when Joe Biden started calling his other son, Hunter, every single day. Every single day. Makes complete sense. You lose your wife and your kid, and then you lose your other kid, and you have one kid left, I believe. Yeah, I'd be calling him every day, especially when he's engaging in high-risk behavior like drug abuse and stuff like, prostitution, stuff like that. I would absolutely be calling my son every single day and talking to him. Now, Hunter Biden eventually pulled it together and kind of got out of the drug world, from my understanding. He's no longer an addict. I don't believe that you're perpetually an addict the way that some people seem to believe. But Joe Biden continued to call him every single day. And sometimes, on occasion, Joe Biden would, get that phone call from Hunter, or he would end up calling Hunter at a time when there was, Hunter was meeting with a bunch of business executives or whatever around a table. They did not talk business. There is absolutely zero evidence of that. They just talked about the weather. They just, he said, "I love you, son. I miss you," and stuff like that. And that's about it. No evidence of any other kind of conversation. That's why they made that joke. Oh, this is about the love of a son for a father. There's no evidence it was anything other than just he lost everybody in his life and he just wanted to talk to the one person he had left, his son Hunter. So, anyways, these people are absolutely obsessed with making Joe Biden out to be some villain at any cost when he's really not. Is Hunter a villain? Sure, I suppose you could say that he's done some extremely questionable things. Yes, I'll go with that. Is he a villain? I don't really care. Charge him with the crime if he's guilty of a crime. That's what I care about. What I care about is people facing justice, period. But these people live in a fantasy land where justice is irrelevant. All they want to do is hurt their enemy at any cost. Hurt their enemy. They just want to hurt whoever it is that's on the Democratic side in any given moment. Insane. Get help, people. So they've spun up this gigantic conspiracy out of nothing, and now they're trying to convince everybody of it by talking about it like it's normal, talking about it like everybody already understands everything about it. I had to dig pretty deep to find, this whole conspiracy and what it was all about. Hang on, let me just switch screens so I can see everything here. Hang on. There we go. Leave it to the conservative maniacs to see a father in mourning, wanting to connect with his child. Wrong. Clearly loving your family is evil. Yeah. That's actually what happened. But I remember when Beau Biden died, man. It was one of the saddest things ever. My God, dude. It was just, God, Joe Biden has had a hard life. For real. This dude has had a hard life. He's lost so many people close to him. I gotta say, I lost my grandmother, and it tore me up hard when I lost her. Yeah, I lost, my kid's great-grandmother. That was even worse. Losing a wife and a kid, and then losing another kid? Holy shit, dude. This guy cannot catch a break, for real. Does it ever get easier? It's insane. It's like every time Joe Biden turns around, some crazy shit's happening to him. You've got to feel for the dude, for real. No, is there any wonder why he's Catholic? Of course. He needs some kind of reason to go on after losing literally everything and everybody. Like, Jesus, dude. Let's step like 20, 30 seconds back and listen to like their entire breakdown of it.
The money's somewhere in 20 shell corporations. When you put that data out in front of the average American, it's going to look like a criminal conspiracy to cover up crime. And the American people across the board don't like that.
It's just completely made up.
Lance, this is about a father's love for his son.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Joe Biden called his son every single day without fail. He wanted to call and talk to Hunter Biden every day, especially because he's engaging in risky behaviors. He wanted to make sure that he was alive and that he was doing okay, so he always called him, no matter what. And, of course, Hunter Biden used that to his advantage. Look, I have a line straight to my dad. Did he ever take advantage of that line? No. Did he ever make that phone call and ask Joe to do something for him? No. Joe there was never any kind of reciprocation, no quid pro quo, none of that. These people absolutely need there to be a big secret conspiracy. Because there is a conspiracy with Donald Trump. Trump actually did commit a conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government, among other things. So they need to make it out to be a conspiracy with Joe because they want Joe to be as dirty as Donald Trump.
It's just about, maybe they were making dinner plans on those phone calls. Like, meet me for pizza.
And that's when the spin gets to be absurd.
It does.
It's the grieving father.
All right, let me.
Well, he was grieving. His son died. Are you kidding me? Is this not connecting with you? What would you do if your son died, and your entire family died in a car accident? What would you do? It's insane to me that these people are using a dude's death against Joe Biden as a political weapon. Like, holy shit, does it get lower than this, honestly? Got a super chat here. Bad if Biden talks to his son, but God can off his. Right? Exactly. God's allowed to just murder his son, just wantonly. Every time I use that word, I have to show that clip of Lauren Boebert not knowing what the word wanton means. Yeah, here we go.
Evil.
Okay, here we go. Let me just pull this puppy up. This is Lauren Boebert giving like a sermon or something. Like, she's reading from the Bible here, right? And if you don't know the word wantonly, it's used a lot in the Bible. Wanton destruction. What does the word mean, actually? I think it means like careless, unabashed, cruel or violent. Yeah, a cruel or violent action. That's what I thought, just looking it up here. It can also mean a sexually unrestrained woman. Okay, that's new. Didn't know that one. Anyway, just listen to Boebert here. Read the word wanton and not have any idea how to pronounce it.
Then all hell broke loose. Rampant, evil, grabbing and grasping, vicious, backstabbing. They made life hell on earth with their envy, wanton killing. I don't know what a wanton killing is.
Wanton killing. It means that you're absolutely terrible. You're doing terrible things. You're hurting people cruelly for absolutely no reason, basically. How did she... Okay, that tells me she's never read the Bible, honestly. She has no clue what the Bible says. But all right.
I'm going to have to look that one up.
I'm going to have to look that one up, she says.
But it sounds interesting. And I don't...
She is dumb as dog shit, I swear to God.
I think I want to be a part of it.
I don't think I want to be a part of it.
Then...
God, everyone's laughing in the background because they know how stupid a thing that was to say. Anyways, yeah. So, I don't even remember how we got back to that, but I thought it'd be worth watching that hilarious video.
To be absurd.
It does.
It's the grieving father.
All right, let me show you this video. Talk about Democratic spin. Watch this.
These phone calls that were a matter of such discussion yesterday, like, what were they about? What would then Vice President Biden say in these conversations? Walk us through what happened.
Right. So let's put this in context. Beau Biden got very sick in early 2015. He died in the spring of 2015, which was right in the middle when Devon Archer had his business dealings.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. This is apparently one of Hunter Biden's business partners. I'm not really sure.
With Hunter Biden. At that point, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden began to speak every day because they were both devastated by Beau's death. They spoke every day. The witness testified that over his 10-year relationship with Hunter Biden, there may be approximately 20 times when in one of those conversations, Hunter Biden would put his father at a dinner, not at a business meeting, at a dinner that he was having if he happened to get a hold of his father, and would ask his father to say hello to whoever was at the table. And that
right, so this is like, this is something you might refer to as like influence peddling, showing who you know. I go all the way to the top. Matter of fact, This is how the world works, by the way. When you get, like, to a certain level of wealth and fame and all that stuff, this is how it works. There's nothing, I mean, you can call this corrupt if you want. This is literally just how everything works at the top. I live in New York City now. I watch this shit happen every single day. Here's another example of this stuff happening. Hunter Biden went to work at Burisma, which was like an energy company. He was on the board of an energy company, right? That's who you want on a board, is somebody who has connections to people. They don't have to exercise those connections, but having them is valuable. Here's an example of influence peddling on Hunter's part. Hunter Biden was famous in his own right. So you know who asked Hunter Biden to write a letter of recommendation to get their kid into a private school? Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson wrote a letter to Hunter Biden asking him to write a letter of recommendation for his kid. All right, so these are some emails that were recovered by the Washington Post. This was reported by the Washington Post. Tucker Carlson writes to Hunter Biden. Hunter, I can't thank you enough for writing that letter to Georgetown on Buckley's behalf. Tucker named his son Buckley? Buckley? Buckley. Okay. So nice of you. I know it'll help. Hope you're great and we can all get dinner soon. Tucker. Hey, buddy, I need Buckley's CV if you have one handy. Thanks. RHB. That's Hunter Biden, I believe. Of course, getting on a plane now, but I'll ask Susie to send it right away. Thanks again. Really nice of you to do this. Tucker Carlson. Huh, how about that? Seems to me that Tucker Carlson was willing to take part in this influence game that is being complained about right now. Like I said, when you get to the top, this is how it works. This is the world at the top. Everybody knows everybody else, and you can't get into Harvard unless you're legacy or you know somebody that's legacy. You get a recommendation from somebody who's legacy. I don't like that. I think it's f***ed up, but that's what it is. The only reason that I even made it to New York City in the first place is because I got lucky by having YouTube work out for me. That's it. You have to know somebody or be independently wealthy in some way or another or whatever to really get anywhere in life. And that's made evident by that letter alone between Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden. The people talking about this, Gene Bailey, Lance Wallnaw, and the other dude, they know that. They know that. You know how I know they know that? Because they are at the top. They are filthy rich. They do know all of these people. Everybody that we were looking at a minute ago. Hang on, let me step back a little bit here. We're at 1352. Everybody on this stage right here has been in a room with Donald Trump talking to. I'm not talking a stadium. I mean a room, a small room, talking to him, telling him what they want to see as far as Christian nationalism goes and everything else. Everybody in this, everybody on this panel, if you will. And they're talking about influence peddling and all this other garbage. I mean, they're shameless. They're absolutely shameless, all of them. Nepotism is just business these days. Yeah, it is. Like I said, I don't like it. I don't want it to be. It disgusts me. I hate it. But that's what it is. Nepotism is just business. And it's clear as day to me. I can't believe it's not clear as day to, everybody that's watching this TV show on the Victory Network, that this is very clearly just a distraction to protect Trump from bad press. Again, the title is Trump Indicted Again, We Break It Down. What are you breaking down? They're breaking down Joe Biden's relationship with Hunter. Really?
Whoever was at the table. And that was essentially the extent of it. It was unclear, and the witness testified, this is not me saying, that the witness testified that...
Talking about the supposed whistleblower, what do you call him? The supposed IRS whistleblower that was calling out Hunter Biden and saying that he was doing this influence peddling or whatever.
unclear, and the witness testified, this is not me saying that, the witness testified that a lot of times, most of the time, Joe didn't even know who the people were at the dinner table. So this was just simply, this may have been Hunter's effort to say, hey, this is, the vice president, this is my dad.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. I'm sure that was probably Hunter's goal. And yeah, maybe Joe did say, hey, how's it going? And yeah, maybe that was a little bit corrupt on Hunter's part. Joe had nothing to do with that. Joe is just calling his son. It happened to be, on the phone when his son was at a dinner with some people or whatever. It's about as far as it went. Like I said, if there's some wrongdoing on Hunter's part, charge him with a crime. I don't care. He's not in government. I could not possibly care less about Hunter Biden.
But the critical part here for Congress, and that's what we have to make sure we understand, is that Joe Biden was doing nothing to benefit his son.
All right, John. This is another issue here going. It's they were great. Nobody does business over dinner, really. Come on.
Well, people do business over dinner, but there's zero evidence, zero reason to believe at all that Joe Biden was furthering his son's interests in a corrupt way by doing this influence peddling thing. Honestly, in my opinion, it does not get more honest than Joe Biden. He's honest to a fault.
Yeah, it's business. This is
like, you may not like the guy, you may not like the dude's politics, you may think he's terrible, that he's more to the right than he is to the left and all that other stuff. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. And, I think I could even agree with you on a lot of that stuff. But the dude's honest to a fault. You must admit that at least.
Nobody does business over dinner, really. Come on.
Yeah, it's business. This is master class spin on the left. Master class spin. That's what this is. And I'll borrow a parable that Jesus used. He was rebuking the Pharisees for focusing on, hyper-focusing on tiny, meaningless things and ignoring big things. He said, you strain out a gnat.
Dude, I love it. This couldn't possibly more perfectly apply to these people. They're ignoring the fact that Donald Trump has been indicted 4 times for a variety of things. Felonies. How many felonies does Trump have at this point? Technically, he has 0 felonies right now. He's just been indicted for them. But according to Business Insider, he has almost 100 felony counts that stem from 5 indictments in 4 criminal cases handed down this year. So 91 felony charges is what he's looking at right now. 91 felony charges. And you're talking about Hunter Biden influence peddling. Really? Give me a break. Hunter Biden is not in government. I don't give a shit about him.
You swallow a camel. We have a Department of Justice and FBI. We have an administration right now that is straining over a minuscule speech that Trump gave on January 6th, or some papers that he has the right as president to declassify, and we're swallowing camels of bribery, of sex trade, of crime, of gun.
Whoa. What's all this of bribery and what? What is all this? Is he claiming that Joe Biden was doing all this stuff? What?
And we're swallowing camels of bribery, of sex trade, of crime, of gun. We're literally got the DOJ swallowing these enormous, irrefutable. It's on video.
What's on video? What? What is on video?
It's literally on videotape, email. The evidence is.
What evidence? Tell me. I want to know. What evidence? What's on video that you're referring to here? Like, they have no problem just making shit up right off the top of their heads. It's crazy. Frankenstein says they've perfected media news contortionism. They're very mentally limber. I know. There would be a joke in there about Hunter Biden being willing to sleep with them if it wasn't so dark. Okay.
Is there, and they're looking the other way, swallowing those camels, and they're straining every gnat they can that's swatting around Donald.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what these people are doing right now. They're, swatting the gnats away and the camel and all that stuff. Hunter, there's nothing there with Hunter Biden, and if there is, charge him with the crime. I couldn't possibly care less. Joe Biden's Department of Justice appointed a special prosecutor to look into what Hunter Biden was doing. Good. Great. I'm happy with that. That I'm glad. I hope that, they do their job and they research it thoroughly. Just as thoroughly as they are Donald Trump. But to claim that, what? I mean, what are they doing here? They're claiming that Trump is innocent or what? That's what they're doing, yes. In the beginning of this, at the very least, they did nothing but claim that Trump was 100% completely innocent of all wrongdoing. And then they focused on Hunter Biden. It's just absurd, man.
That's swatting around Donald Trump.
It's true. It's definitely coming forward. Let me show you this timeline, and you can see exactly how all these things came together. Watch. Oh, it's a tweet. All right, there you go.
Oh, it's a tweet, he said. Okay, Greg Price. I don't know who Greg Price is or why we should trust anything that he says, but okay. Let me blow it up so we can see it. All right, let's listen to what they have to say here and see if we can listen to this ridiculous breakdown. I'm 100% sure this is going to be nonsense.
June 7th, FBI releases documents. The Bidens took $10 million. June 8th, Jack Smith indicts Trump in the Mar-a-Lago documents.
Right, so there are two cases going on at the same time. There's the Trump case and there's the Hunter Biden case. And these people, the Trump people we're listening to right now, are claiming that they're using one case to distract from the other when that's simply not true. It's just nonsense. It's very obvious to everybody and their brother that Trump definitely broke some laws. And hey, maybe Hunter Biden broke some laws too. Okay. Anybody that broke laws should be charged with a crime. Period. I don't see why that's so hard to say. Why is that so difficult?
July 26th, Hunter Biden goes to court, rejects the deal. July 27th, Jack Smith adds more charges to the Trump and the Mar-a-Lago case. July 30th.
Yeah, there are two cases going on at the same time. Big surprise. This is what happens.
31st, Hunter Biden's former business partner testifies to Congress. Joe Biden was on over 20 calls. Jack Smith adds more charges to the Trump and the Mar-a-Lago case. July 31st, Hunter Biden's former business partner testifies to Congress. Joe Biden was on over 20 calls. August 1, Jack Smith indicts Trump again for January 6th. They're going to run out.
Right, so they're trying to imply that, they're covering up Hunter Biden's evil doings or whatever, or his case with a case against Trump. That's just nonsense. These people are very obviously attempting to use Hunter Biden to cover up Trump's case. I mean, it's clear as day, right? Again, the title of this thing is Trump Indicted Again, We Break It Down. Why are we talking about Hunter Biden?
Lance, you can only... sooner or later, we got to run out of indictments here.
If you want to be prophetic, take every future date that is critical in the primaries and in the voting process, and let's just put a circle around it and say, and we can anticipate there'll be another report coming out on these 4 dates.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not prophetic. Coming from somebody who calls himself a prophet, I'm kind of blown away that he would say such a thing. That's predicting the future, not prophecy. Prophecy comes from God directly. Can you believe this dude? He's shameless.
But I really do think that Rush Limbaugh in his last broadcast.
Oh God, dude. Okay. Rush Limbaugh. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He died of cancer a while back. I don't wish death on anybody, FYI. I wish that he could have been a better person in life. But, Rush Limbaugh, when he was alive, celebrated the deaths of people who had AIDS, who had HIV. He was a broadcaster in those early days, around the time that HIV was spreading around. And he listed names of people who died of HIV and was happy about it and celebrating and throwing a party. That's how grotesque and evil and disgusting this guy is. And he got the highest, what is it, the Freedom Medal of Honor or something? Highest honor that a civilian can receive, the highest medal a civilian can receive from Donald Trump. Rush Limbaugh was a disgusting person. About as disgusting as it gets, truthfully. And I'm sorry that anybody died. I don't want anybody dead. So he's talking about his last broadcast. Go on.
Be another report coming out on these 4 dates.
Yeah.
But I really do think that Rush Limbaugh, in his last broadcast, Jack Posobiec just published it. His very last broadcast.
What does Jack Posobiec have to do with Rush Limbaugh? Are they related or something? Did he take over Limbaugh's show, or I don't know how Jack Posobiec is linked to. Wait, Jack Posobiec is just a conspiracy theorist nutcase. Yeah, I'm not sure that they're linked at all. I'm not sure why he's talking about Posobiec in this way in relation to Rush Limbaugh. Okay, go on.
Jack Posobiec just published it. His very last broadcast, he said that the left will indict Trump before the next election.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all because he watched Trump break the law with a whole bunch of stuff. Are you seriously not, are you surprised by the fact that somebody predicted that Trump would be indicted? Really? This surprises you? That actually surprises the hell out of me that you're surprised by this.
Wow. He said the Democrats have...
This isn't prophetic in any way. This is obvious. Yes, people get indicted for crimes. I mean, I honestly didn't think they were going to indict him, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought for sure they were just going to ignore Trump's crimes and move on, just like they did with George Bush, just like Obama said with Bush. Let's just look forward. We should be looking forward, not backward, you know? That same kind of shit. But, no, I guess that they did decide to charge Trump. Really surprised by that. Anyways, you don't have to be, prophetic or, some kind of a seer or some other shit to... see the writing on the wall. Trump broke the law, and it was likely that he was going to be charged for some of that. He broke it flagrantly. He didn't give a shit. He knew what he was doing was wrong, and he kept pushing his toe over the line, knowing that any one of these times he pushes his toe over, something's going to be done about it. He's daring people. Donald Trump has always been. Trump has been daring people to charge him with a crime this entire time. So yeah, this isn't surprising to me at all that he's being charged. And it shouldn't be surprising to Rush Limbaugh or anybody else.
The left will indict Trump before the next election. Wow. He said the Democrats have to do it. He said because, make no mistake about it, you might think they want to destroy him so that he becomes the candidate. That's not it. They fear him because they fear you.
That's right.
No, it's not right. You live in a fantasy land. It's not right. They just sit on the show and repeat everything that each other say in the most ridiculous and absurd ways humanly possible. It's insane. They live in a fantasy land.
Fear him and they fear you.
Well, and even Trump said, they're not after me, they're after you.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That's just a piece of propaganda that he's been using. And since he used that piece of propaganda, they've been using it overseas, too. Check this out. Since he brought it up, let me just show you this picture real quick. Strongmen, dictator types, they all use the same tactics and the same memes and ideas and stuff like that. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Please. I hate the Daily Mail. Daily Mail is awful. I'm not using that. Oh, my God. New York Post is even worse. Okay. So here's the meme. In reality, they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. This is what it looks like right here if you've never seen this before. And like I said, strongman types all use the same tactics, the same memes all across the world. So when this started circulating, the exact same meme in Hebrew started circulating for Bibi Netanyahu. Seriously, look. It's exactly the same. That is wild, right? Same coloring, same everything. So, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I can't take this shit seriously.
Yeah, and that was
You.
Well, even Trump said, they're not after me, they're after you.
Yeah.
And that was before our eyes were really open just how real that statement was.
Before our eyes were open. It's just painful, dude.